I am currently standing on the 4H road in Roundup, where, as you can see behind me,
this device is called a thermal imager. It's what firefighters use when rooms are too smoky, and it also helps find victims. Dove says when you purchase art at the Art Barn, you support local. Gary Blaine and I flew in his Bell Jet Ranger and observed the current levels of the Yellowstone River. Well, Thompson says it's not the physical strength that's important, it's the mental strength that's key to become a firefighter. Here at MSU Billings, Halloween is all about community involvement. Take this piece of grass, for example. It actually has 2 rattlesnakes that are camouflaged inside. Well, now that Smart has rebuilt this car, you can purchase raffle tickets for $5 a piece or 5 for $20 to win it. Putting on your seatbelt is as easy as saying your alphabets, and it should be one of the first things you do when you get inside your vehicle.
I'm currently here on 1st Street West and Avenue B in Billings, where there is a structure fire right behind me. Let me get out of the way so you guys can actually see what is going on. We have very few details, but what I can tell you is that there are more than 6 fire engines here, as well as the Billings Police Department. The house is producing tons and tons of smoke, and what I know about firefighters and the type of technique they use in this case is they use a training technique called VEIS training. Firefighters were around just making sure that the area was kept safe. Now, there were firefighters guarding some businesses, firefighters guarding some construction workers. Now, Commander Lieutenant Roger Bodine says this may not seem like a lot, but in reality, it helps a great deal.
July 3rd, 2013. Melinda Limberhand goes back to when her daughter, Hannah Harris, was murdered.
The community usually has a 4th of July fireworks show down in Lamder at the tribal building, and my daughter went over there that evening. I didn't attend because I worked at the depot. I just got off of work and I was home for a couple hours, so about 4, her and baby came into the house, and I told her, I said, I'm very tired, can you go across to your uncle's, come back and pick me up and we'll go to the fireworks? And she never did come back and pick me up.
The next morning, Melinda knew something was wrong. Hannah had not returned to breastfeed her son, who was just 9 months old at the time. Hannah's mother located her car on Muddy Creek. The search for Hannah Harris began.
I really started getting worried, the family started getting worried, and we decided that we needed to go report her as missing.
Melinda says the Bureau of Indian Affairs told her that if she didn't find her by the end of the weekend, they would step in. So she arranged a search party and looked into anyone who may have come into contact with Hannah. As the weekend passed, the FBI stepped in and helped with the search efforts. It didn't take long before officers showed up at Melinda's door on a Monday night.
They told me that they found my daughter deceased.
Melinda was home alone by herself.
It's really hard for me to even think about it, you know, I mean, what she had to go through, you know, and that's why, excuse me.
How many years has it been?
7. It still feels like yesterday.
Hannah's mother tells me her daughter was murdered right here by this trailer home. Her car was found right here where I'm standing, but it's not where Hannah's body was found.
There was a group of our local search and rescue that were still out there, and when they were coming in, one of them smelled something, and so they went over there, and that's how they found her at 9 o'clock that night.
Melinda says when Hannah was murdered, she was put into a trunk and taken onto a road leading to the rodeo grounds in Lane Deer, not far from Muddy Creek. She was then chucked onto the side of this hill and left face down on the ground. Melinda has been an advocate for missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, attending walks and supporting those who want to make a change on the Indian reservations. Ray Peppers is the representative for House District 41 and sponsor of Hannah's Act.
House Bill 21 was created because there's a need to track cases pertaining to murdered or missing Indigenous women.
Peppers says this bill is for everyone who goes missing or murdered on any of the 7 reservations in Montana.
It's an issue that has affected us all tribes. And I have so many people coming to testify from the reservations, from the state, because they want this to pass. They want something to finally happen to where there's recognition that this is an epidemic.
Peppers says presenting this bill has been so stressful and she feels the weight on her shoulders, but that will not stop her from giving her all. In Lame Deer, I'm Briana Monte. Billings firefighters, along with airport firefighters, are teaming up together to do some live fire training at the airport tonight. As you can see behind me, there is a model plane on fire where plumes of smoke are just billowing in the air. Now, this kind of training is done only once in the summer and in the fall. Paul Tatanizzi, airport supervisor for the Airport Fire Rescue. He explains what this training consists of.
As a requirement of the FAA, just as every commercial airport has to have this capability, and they have to go through this type of training. What they're doing here is trying to cool the aircraft in this situation with a simulation using nothing but water.
Totten says this kind of fire training is done twice a year because it's pretty expensive. They use jet fuel rather than propane in order to train more realistically.
We want to make sure they understand how to apply the agent, in this case water, in a fashion that allows for the passengers to evacuate the simulated airplane. So we're trying to keep the fire away from the fuselage.
So why was Billings Fire Department a part of this kind of airport fire training?
They are our primary cover. It's essential for them to be coming to the airport on any large emergency because they have the staffing and manpower to supplement us.
The next kind of fire training will be done in the fall with fire trucks trying to put out the flames. In Billings, I'm Briana Monte, Montana Right Now. Last year, Marissa was only allowed to cheer for her team on the sidelines. Well, after a year's worth of hard work and dedication, the Battling Bear has finally been cleared to play this basketball season. It's been a goal for Marissa ever since she was diagnosed with leukemia, to get back on the basketball court at Rocky Mountain College for her senior year.
I just kind of had in my mind that I was going to come back and play basketball.
A passion she never gave up on, the Battling Bear worked hard towards her return to the court.
Like when I'd walk up to go get treatment done every day, I'd take the stairs instead of elevator, and just when I'd have bad days, I just kind of kept looking forward to what was coming in the future.
Marissa's oldest brother, John, recalls seeing her dedication.
Whenever her immune system would get back up, we'd try and get out, and we actually would go over to Rocky and shoot hoops.
I also spoke to her brother, Nick, to ask how he felt about his baby sister being able to once again do what she loves.
I'm elated about that, yeah, that she gets to play. Yeah. I mean, she spent the last, probably 10 months having to be sedentary. So through that whole period, looking forward to, getting back out and, getting back to her, final season of basketball as a senior at Rocky, that's pretty amazing.
This Battling Bear says she can't wait for that first game.
And I know for the very first game, I'm probably gonna, I hope not to cry, but I might cry because it's just gonna be knowing where I came from and how many obstacles I've had to overcome this last year. It'll just be really gratifying.
If you had any hopes for the future for Marissa, what would that be?
Just she's happy, lives a full life.